Hello and a very warm welcome to another episode of the Digital Brew. I'm here today with Ben Corrigan from Pouch, and we're going to be talking about the evolution of voucher codes online.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Ben, thanks for your time. I first came across you via Dragon's Den, and that's certainly something I'd like to come back and discuss a bit later on perhaps. But can you just give us a quick introduction to yourself?
Yeah, sure. So Ben Corrigan, like I said, I'm a founder of Pouch. Pouch is a free online shopping tool that presents our users with the best valid voucher codes as they shop on over 3,000 UK websites. So basically, we've all been there before at the checkout page about to enter our card details and see that section that says, do you have a voucher code? And then we all end up leaving and searching for a code and going on all these homogenous voucher code sites, and the codes are always invalid or they're expired and they never seem to work. So with us, you just we sit in your browser. When you're on a website that we have voucher codes for, we just give them to you. So you never have to visit an annoying voucher code site again.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, well, we'll probably talk about sort of Pouch specifically a little bit later on. I think like a natural starting place when I was thinking about what we can chat about is hence the name, the evolution of voucher codes, is actually kind of, where it feels as though it's a very recent phenomenon, but both you and I both did the same research.
Read the same article.
Came up with 1887. Coca-Cola actually did the first sort of recognised coupons. So coupons have naturally kind of migrated online, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, there's an interesting thing there. It's incentivising consumers to kind of use a product, and in that particular instance, it's really interesting because they actually incentivise the pharmacists to give them a load of data. So data privacy breaches of
in the 1877 was it?
1887. Yeah. Then there's a bit of a lull. I think the next one was 1909 with some
cereal boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same.
And then the Great Depression.
Yeah. But I think I suppose I've been involved in the online world for a while, and I actually got into sort of SEO, as a lot of SEO people did, by dilly-dallying around doing affiliate work. So I've done my own bit of sort of affiliate marketing over time, and I think affiliate marketing was a pretty key driver of a lot of voucher code usage.
Yeah.
Affiliate marketing for me feels like it's sort of died off a bit, but voucher code usage just isn't going anywhere. And I remember when sort of Mark Pearson sold my voucher codes for the 60 million or whatever it was, and that it just really reinforced to me how big it is.
Yeah, I mean, even after that acquisition, Retail Me Not, which is a US voucher code conglomerate, was acquired for $600 and something million. Ebates, which is a kind of cashback voucher code proposition, was bought by Rakuten for over $1 billion. There's huge amounts of money. And whilst affiliate marketing is seeing a lull in some areas, voucher codes and cashback are basically the key driver of that entire industry. It's not going away anywhere quick.
No, I mean, it's not. And I think that's I think probably the crux of the I think the really interesting angle is I guess it's the question around, does it cheapen a brand? Is it there are negative consequences I think of doing voucher codes, and I think this is actually symptomatic of online retail full stop. The kind of the Black Fridays, Cyber Mondays, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel sometimes it's a race to the bottom, and sort of profitability seems to be taking a big whack.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this totally depends on the industry, and it totally depends on the retailer. There's some retailers that would never dream of discounting. Prada, for instance, wouldn't do it. You'll never find a voucher code on Apple or some high-end brands. Some companies are synonymous with voucher codes. You would be foolish to go to Pizza Express without a voucher code because it's literally all they do is these discounts. Is it a race to the bottom? I don't necessarily think that's a question that's just related to voucher codes. I think it's related to discounting generally, price cutting. But I think what we're seeing with voucher codes is actually it's a mechanism for being able to satisfy retailers' very specific objectives. So it's not just get 10% off. It can be get 10% off if you spend over £10 or £100. Now you're actually increasing average order values. Or it's, you can discount for a new customer. So this is about new customer retention. And so if you know your own lifetime value of a customer, you can fold that kind of discount into your margins. It can actually make a lot of sense. And also voucher codes can be used to offload inventory. Let's say Lenovo have got a warehouse filled with loads of last generation tablets.
Get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
So it isn't just necessarily a catch-all race to the bottom. It can be used cleverly, targeted at specific individuals and specific set of circumstances to satisfy particular KPIs. But
yeah, it's a very good point, and it's a bit crude to lump all discounting into one bucket. And I think if you can prioritize, if you can mould your sort of retail performance through incentives, the consumer wins and also the kind of retailer wins. So it's that's a kind of positive story. I think that's fine until you get the frenzy. We're about to go into kind of silly season in terms, particularly e-commerce.
Yeah.
Have there been any kind of standout examples you've personally seen over the years that you've just thought crazy, kind of nutters, or is it just more?
What in terms of just the level of discounting?
Yeah.
It's crazy. What I'm actually going to be very interested in is Singles Day. So I don't know if you're familiar with Singles Day, but it's the biggest e-commerce day in China. Mm-hmm. It's basically Valentine's Day for single people. Yeah. And that is now transitioning to Europe. And so it's expected to be very big. And it's just another example of how retailers love an excuse. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Cyber Wednesday.
It's sort of something every day, basically.
Yeah, and the amount of it does become very competitive and very cutthroat with the retailers. We're a company, so one of the things that we do is actually allow retailers to target customers while they're shopping on a competitor's site. Okay. Which has never been done before. So I say, imagine if you're in John Lewis looking at a bottle of aftershave, and then a Debenham sales assistant comes up to you and says, hey, by the way, that aftershave is £10 cheaper. Yeah. And John Lewis can't remove that person from their premises, right? Because we sit in the browser, we basically...
Yes, you're divorced in the actual website, you're in the...
Exactly, so there's no integration. Yep. And so because we presented retailers with this tool, and we're a delivery mechanism for allowing them to target their ideal customers, some of the discounts are crazy that they're willing to offer, because now they have an opportunity to steal market share. Yes. So and so in some cases you'll see some retailers perfectly happy to make a loss.
I think the loss leading phenomenon has always been there. I mean, in supermarkets particularly, they'll radically discount in certain product lines, probably through bullying their suppliers a little bit to get advantageous sort of pricing themselves, but they are losing money on that particular product in the aspiration of getting more people through their door. And I think you're right, you are seeing more of that blatant kind of cannibalising your competitors' sales. And I think it's an interesting model, and it's certainly it's very aggressive. Again, I suppose we've had that. We're as an agency, Browse Media is primarily search. I mean, we've often had that dilemma about sort of cannibalising, sort of brand searches on your competitors. Yeah. Do you steam in there? And I think the obvious answer is yes, because let's take that buying a sort of bottle of perfume. If someone's looking for buy perfume at John Lewis, if you are Debenhams, then great. Let's just get in front of there. The challenge is to really stand out. You have to be really aggressive. You basically have to say, look, we'll do it cheaper or better or whatever it is. Yeah. And the reality is, a lot of brand searches, they're looking for, in the retail world, they're probably looking for store opening hours or contact details. They're not actually, they don't want to be invaded at that point. And I think consumers can get a bit peeved. I don't just butt out. I'm quite enjoying my John Lewis experience. I'm here to do this thing, and I'm happy with it. Yeah. Oh, don't make me make decisions.
Yeah, exactly. There's being a useful tool and being an annoying company.
Interruptive. But I think
it's interesting what you say about the brand bidding stuff, the keywords. So now what we're seeing in the voucher code industry is so. Just to reiterate, if anyone listening doesn't know what brand bidding is it's when I will bid on my competitor's key terms. So if I'm ASOS and you're Debenhams, and someone types in Debenhams, ASOS ad will appear. There's a kind of status quo that brand bidding just isn't done, because then it is a race to the bottom. So people just don't do it until Christmas.
I know.
But then what you're seeing in voucher codes is part of the terms and conditions for the affiliate programs is no brand bidding. So if I'm vouchercodes.co.uk and someone types in ASOS voucher code, I can't come up, except when you have an exclusivity agreement where you can actually grant only one voucher code site the right to bid on their own brand,
Yeah.
which in my opinion is anti-competitive.
Yes, well,
and,
there's a lot of, even this week, there's been the whole compare the market.
Yeah.
They've been looking to, if they're preventing their, I think it was home insurance, in a particular case, they highlighted, they had people advertising their site, and part of the deal was your best price has to be on our site. And I agree with you, that's not really in the spirit of open competition, and it's commercial, and I think these things happen, and I think all discounting full stop and voucher codes is an easy way of doing that and facilitating that with sound business sort of models and sort of theory behind it. It's not always bad, as you say. The loss leading it's always happened.
I think people in the marketing industry don't like voucher codes because they see it as too simplistic,
right,
and too easy.
Yep.
They want to have all these really sophisticated strategies, particularly in affiliate marketing, and people that really want to drive content.
Yeah.
Content doesn't drive sales. It just doesn't. In theory it should, and you would like it to, and you would think brilliant content, fantastic article, led this person to buy this dress.
Yeah.
Led that person to buy the dress as a discount.
Yeah.
And that's why affiliate marketing is dominated by cashback and voucher codes.
Yep.
And so you will have these marketing managers at major retailers saying, we're moving away from discounting. The best price is the only price. Mm-hmm. And it just goes all out the window when it comes to Christmas. And the reason it goes out the window is because they know that that's what drives the results. They know that people, know that there's discounts out there. It's almost one of those things that once the cat's out of the bag,
yep,
can't put it back in again.
No, I agree. It's sort of Pandora's box. It's
Exactly. And if you have the voucher code functionality on the site, you have tools like Pouch, which will capitalize on that. And so, I think there's a little bit of a disingenuity about discounting.
I'd agree with that. I think you just have to accept it. And I think I was talking to my wife the other day, and she said, Gap. Nobody shops on Gap anymore. And you mentioned the kind of Pizza Express. You just wait until it's discounted, or you go into the store, you find the product you like, you go searching for a kind of voucher code. And I suppose my immediate reaction is, that's madness. They would have bought that if the mindset is, that's the price it is. And I think this is where Apple's very good and very strong. They charge exorbitant prices, miles above where they should be, but people think, well, I might as well do it. I want it, and it's not going to get any cheaper. And that, I think that's quite strong. And I think but that's the benefit of having a very, very, very strong brand. And that, funny enough, actually, with my content marketing head on that, and I do agree with you about, content doesn't necessarily drive revenue. It certainly won't in the very short term.
That's right. So let me reiterate that, because I don't want that to be a soundbite. Content, of course, drives sales and drives revenue. And I'm saying when it comes to
long-term, it's an investment.
Exactly.
To build a brand, that's fundamentally
the point of conversion is, so affiliate marketing is performance marketing. So the affiliate marketing managers would love it to be that, but the last click wins, and the last click is the voucher code.
Yeah,
it just is.
Exactly. Or it's going to search or voucher. In search, might have got them to different, affiliate who then drove them on.
Yeah, exactly. And you do have attribution funnels, and that's always been a hot topic in affiliate marketing, is attribution. Like, you want to encourage the good content,
correct,
and you don't want to over rely on voucher codes.
Sort of, and it was what's he called, Nick Robinson, wasn't it? It was the ASOS CEO who said that affiliate marketers are grubby little people in grubby little studios, and I think, okay, that wasn't too clever. That's just probably about to relaunch their affiliate campaign. So what drove you to setting up Pouch? Was there any kind of individual catalyst, or was it just
so my background's actually in on-site optimization.
Yep.
So I worked at a company called Yieldify.
In terms of optimization for search or performance?
Optimization for performance on the website.
So CRO, or conversion rate optimization.
Conversion rate optimization, So I was a very early employee at a company called Yieldify, which actually then grew to be one of the fastest growing tech companies in Europe. Yep. In fact, they got $11.5 million from Google Ventures. It was a real interesting story. Yep. And all it was a piece of JavaScript which would be implemented on a client's website, like Marks and Spencer's or Domino's or something.
Yep.
And then it can monitor users' mouse movements, their speed and their behavior, and determine when they're about to leave a website based on the trajectory of those mouse movements towards certain exit points. Yep. And at that point, they would then display an overlay message saying, continue to buy and get 10% off, or continue to spend £15, or give us your email or whatever. And then the actual content and the copy of that overlay would change depending on where you'd come from, how many times you visited the site, what was in the basket, the value of the basket, geolocation device, all the usual suspects. And it was operated back then on a performance model.
Yep.
So I go to leave the site, trigger an overlay, click on the overlay, buy something, I get paid a commission.
Right.
So it was super scalable business because which is why it grew so fast. I mean, by the time I left, after 2.5 years or whatever, it was about 155 people. And I joined at 5 people.
Right.
And so that was what inspired me to create Pouch, because I was a sales guy.
Yep.
And I was had to try to convince retailers to implement JavaScript, which is not an easy task, even though it's technically only takes 5 minutes.
Should be, it never is easy.
It never is. And, one of the most common objections, which is kind of what you've raised a little bit in this conversation, is why should I pay Yieldify a commission for converting a user that I've already paid to come to my site after having given them a discount? Right? It's a hard sell.
Yeah, it's true.
In the end, ultimately, it wasn't too difficult because it worked. It did, in some cases, dramatically decrease shopping cart abandonment, which stands on as an industry average on 75%.
Is it as high as that?
It is exactly 75% as an industry average.
And is the discount voucher empty box the biggest trigger?
I would say so.
Yeah, exactly. Did you see that when you were at Yieldify? Did you see that was one of the single most important triggers?
Yeah, because why do people abandon a site? There's lots of reasons. They abandon the site because they had no interest in purchasing anyway.
Yep.
Or they have unexpected delivery costs, privacy or security concerns.
Yeah.
But primarily, it's to search for a voucher code.
Yeah.
Indicated by the fact that when people go to leave, they see the overlay and they stay. Yeah. Also indicated in our own data now that we also see that. We see that people convert much higher.
Yep.
The shopping cart abandonment rates are lower at the sites that we work on with our users.
Yep.
And so, but I thought if we created a browser extension, we wouldn't have to implement JavaScript. So Pouch is integrated on every single website in the world, meaning that we don't need to ask permission to be on the websites. And then we can actually work collaboratively with thousands of retailers and become a B2C proposition, whereas Yieldify is a B2B proposition. So that was the catalyst.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also just as a user,
Yes.
it's in 2017, you've got these retailers spending millions of pounds driving users to their websites, millions of more pounds optimizing those websites for conversions. And the users that they want, the people with items in the basket, are leaving to go on this journey
to try and find vouchers.
Where there's a chance that they'll confront your competitor with a different price. They won't come back. And only 33% of users that lead to search for a voucher code.
I was going to say, I'm guilty of it, as I'm sure everyone is. You try 2 or 3 and voucher no longer valid. You just give up, or the phone goes, or an email. Something distracts you. So I kind of think there's. I think embedding in the browser is the clever bit, because the kind of web development I've been involved in over the years, or it's more, we're usually interested in getting some tracking code or some code on sites. It's a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
Sites.
It is a nightmare.
Remove that reliance. That's why things like tag management has always been great for us, because you say, look, give us tag management, and we can put the right kind of script and code in there, but it's still relatively not used very well. So
it just depends on the on how. What the kind of bottlenecks that these the tech side of these companies are. I remember trying to get JavaScript on Tesco, and it took nearly 2 years because they've got the developer. Even though it's a 5-minute task, it goes down the list, and then there's a lot of approvals. So we're live on Tesco. Overnight.
Good.
So
What have you had any sort of particular challenges in sort of, because is it 2 years old now, the business?
No, 1 year. So we actually launched to the public September 2016.
Okay.
So it's only been 1 year. So this is our first proper Christmas
Real
coming
Christmas.
up.
Okay. And any kind of insights in terms of particular challenges that, or advice?
Number one insight I'll show you after Amazon. It's just a beast. It is so huge. It represents 41% of all internet activity on Pouch. Right, because we monitor every e-commerce website in the UK. 30 to 41%, something between 38 and 41%. That, which is mental. And the challenge there is that we can't work with Amazon because they have their own browser extension. Jeff Bezos personally said that he doesn't want to work with browser extensions, and so there's a lot of money on the table there. But we also have an opportunity to display great offers to users on Amazon and bring them to our retailers as well. So it's good fertile ground for targeting.
Yeah.
But again, finding that balance between annoying pop-up company and useful shopping tool is difficult.
It is hard. Yeah.
So other challenges are also just browser extensions, toolbars, plugins have had a historically very bad reputation, particularly in this market, and largely because they're so powerful. And people use that power but badly. They drop cookies, they steal data, they sell data, all this kind of stuff.
And the privacy kind of people mindful of that, and they start shutting everything down or not installing stuff.
And it wasn't something that I was aware of until I created a browser extension company. I was like, people hate toolbars. So our big challenge is really putting a very public face on it, coming out of the shadows, building a really interesting business. And my co-founder Johnny hates when I talk about data because he thinks it scares users, but ultimately everyone knows that there is a payoff there. We use anonymized data to then negotiate brilliant deals for our users. And so when we work collaboratively with retailers, we can run some fantastic campaigns.
I imagine it's to their benefit.
So the challenge is...
It's a kind of value proposition.
Yeah.
There's a data exchange, and if there's value in that data, then I think people are going to get it.
And there's loads of value in that data, because you see, when people talk about customer journey or they talk about customer profile building, they're not. You have to be in the browser to be that, and we are. So
it's interesting. You mentioned sort of publicity and sort of getting the name out there. The Dragon's Den experience, one of the better ways of doing that. Just talk about that. And I've actually known a couple of friends have done it. One actually in Canada, and was successful. Like yourself, had effectively the dragons fighting it, which is the kind of dream scenario. It's a fascinating program. And I think it's a great format, and it's good. What was the trigger for you going on the show?
So, my co-founder Johnny really wanted to go on Dragon's Den. I didn't think it was a viable investment opportunity. I didn't think it was worthwhile spending time on. I kind of thought it's real musicians don't go on X Factor, real entrepreneurs don't go on Dragon's Den, right? Which is wrong. Which is wrong with me in hindsight. The BBC got in touch with us. We'd been in a few. We got a little bit of press. Johnny and I were named as two of the 20 young entrepreneurs to watch by Startups.co.uk and a couple of other magazines. And they were like, we think you'd be good contestants for the show. So that kind of made me think, right, well, it's probably worth investing some time and resource into applying. And then actually it was a very quick process. We were told it would take months, to a week. So they were really quick to get us through, which again was very promising.
I guess they came looking for you then.
And there was an online application which was almost immediately approved. There was a telephone interview which within an hour led to an audition. And then there was a long wait throughout the due diligence process, because they have to make sure that you're a legitimate business, that you're not lying, obviously. And then we got the film date, and the rest is that. So it was a very interesting experience, and obviously incredibly valuable for user acquisition. We acquired close to 65,000 users in the week following the show. Not as many as we had forecasted, actually. But still, 65,000 users would have cost hundreds of thousands of pounds to.
If you look at some sort of sort of hideous advertiser equivalent metric on that, it's kind of highly valuable. Enjoyable experience.
I mean, I hate public speaking, and my biggest fear was becoming like a meme,
I know.
like the sweaty guy from Dragon's Den.
But it's not. I say the two people I know have done it. They said that what you just do not appreciate is the massive wall of TV crews, and it's intimidating. And you think the dragons are, take it or leave it. Either get intimidated by them or not. But it's the people you do not see is terrifying. And I need the lamps. It's a big deal, and you're in there for a long time.
So I've never had any experience in a studio or anything like that. And the show, they cut your segments to like 15 minutes, but we were in there for 2.5 hours of constant questioning. It was actually a legitimate investment pitch, which I didn't think it would be. We didn't really delve into the numbers. Obviously, there's no like slideshows or anything, so it's different to a pitch. But it was. I think I felt sick for the months building up to it.
Imagine.
but I was really comfortable within a minute of doing the tour.
With you and Johnny felt, well, I think you knew your stuff.
Yeah.
It's a sensible idea. You see a lot of not very sensible ideas and crazy valuations. And I think you need to be investable. And that's, you see that theme over and over again. If as an individual you're not investable, it doesn't matter how good the business is.
Yeah.
You both came across very, very well on that front and can confidently talk about the numbers. And it was a sort of realistic valuation.
I thought, and we knew that, as we were discussing earlier, some people just, it seems like they haven't even watched the show.
Yeah, exactly. You do wonder how they get.
We knew, right, let's ask for a reasonable amount of money, £75,000, it is a small amount of money, realistically, considering the amount of money we've actually raised since the show, and a reasonable valuation. And I think at that level, they don't kind of like really even try to, because our revenue figures were not good at all, actually. Mm-hmm. We had no business, we had no business, really. Yeah, well, we only had a few thousand users, and so we weren't making very much money. And even though the valuation we felt was fair, we think going in with that lower ask meant that the questions were more about the vision,
exactly that,
rather than the gross profit margins.
Yeah, and I think that's what excites them as investors. Anyway, is they'd rather get in early doors of something that could explode, and just nature the way they do it. It's portfolio style. They'll invest in 20, and they only need one to come really good. And they want that acorn that could become the
unicorn.
A unicorn.
No, an acorn that becomes a unicorn.
Via the oak tree. It's very interesting. But you have subsequently raised other.
Yeah, so we didn't. Just before we go on to that, what I would say as well is if to anyone thinking about going on the show, it was really only in hindsight. I thought actually you take it very, very seriously, because had it gone badly, you then have to spend months with a knot in your stomach, knowing you're going to be humiliated on national television.
Yeah, well,
right? Which was a real risk that I hadn't considered properly.
Yeah,
we were very relaxed because we knew we got 5 offers, so we knew no matter how they spun it, we were going to come across well. Yeah. But you really think about it it can break your business. It can make your business. Yeah, I think it can also break
yourself. A bit head above the parapet in any scenario.
Correct.
You're entering the game and you've gone all in. It's the big chips in, and if it works, great. If it doesn't work, then not so good.
Yeah, but so we subsequently raised because we sat down with the Dragons afterwards. We did some due diligence and some. It just wasn't worth it for us, and
it's often the way.
Most of the time the deals do fall through. 80% of the time, according to the Daily Mail. But we were then able to leverage the experience. As seen on Dragons Den. So we raised, and we could tell investors that what had happened on the show, and that it was very likely we'd be televised, and it was likely that we would get some good downloads. So we were able to raise at a 3-something million valuation rather than a 485,000 valuation. So it's
it works.
Nearly 7 times the valuation than on the show, and for 3 times as much money.
Yeah.
So now we have enough in the coffers to take us through Christmas, where hopefully
it's a big important time.
Yeah, exactly. And if we have a good Christmas, that means that we can grow faster and possibly do a Series A at some point next year.
Cool. Always like to finish on a vision for the future. What's Ben's vision for the future for voucher codes online?
So I think programmatic is the future for it. I think that voucher codes for too long have been throw enough stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Sort of not personalised, not clever, not intelligent.
Everyone gets 20% off. Well, not everyone should get 20% off. Maybe you're the type of consumer that should get 18% off, and I should get 24% off. Based on who you are, where you shop, what you visit. The more data that we collect about people, about users' shopping behaviour, and the closer that retailers have to understanding their own objectives and KPIs, you can use voucher codes as a very good mechanism to get the right voucher code to the right user at the right time, for the right product, and that will be more programmatic. That's what I see the future of voucher codes being.
I think most tech is becoming, the whole sort of AI bit and programmatic is sort of inevitable.
Yeah.
That's why the kind of word evolution. I think we're in the journey now.
Yeah.
We haven't arrived at all, and it'll increasingly get more intelligent, and therefore a positive experience for consumers, which is the obvious bit.
Yeah.
But retailers too. I think that's really interesting.
I think so. We've discussed a lot today about all of the, negative things about voucher codes. And largely it's because it's a blunt instrument. But if you can refine it so you can use them just when it's appropriate for your business, based on your margins, based on your objectives, I think voucher code usage will explode. As in voucher code usage by retailers, adoption, voucher code adoption, I should probably say, and then obviously as a consequence usage. So I don't see the voucher code industry dying out anytime soon.
Hope not.
Yeah.
Cool, Ben. It's been great to speak to you.
It's great to talk to you as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Hope you enjoyed that. As always, we are always keen to hear from you. So if you want to get involved in a future Digital Brew, please get in touch. Thank you.